Good morning. Today we will be reviewing how to accept federal Stafford loans at the University of South Florida. There are 4 steps to accepting aid at the University of South Florida, and that includes the entrance interview, Stafford lender preference form, accepting the aid, and doing the master promissory note. The reason why we're having this tutorial is because within an incoming year, there can be between 3,000 to 5,000 incoming freshmen and transfer students. These students always have questions about how specifically aid is accepted at the university. Well, this tutorial will break that down and show them exactly how to accept their aid. The steps are the entrance interview. This includes the rules and guidelines of accepting federal Stafford loans. The Stafford lender preference form allows the university to know which bank institution they are requesting the funds from. Accepting the loan tells us how much you as a student would like to receive. And the master promissory note allows us to go ahead and request this from the lender with you promising them that you'll do a repayment. We'll cover all these steps as well as show you a brief example of how to do so. When it comes to accepting your aid, the first thing you want to do is go to the USF website. That's www.usf.edu. That'll bring you to the homepage, which we're already on. At the top right, you'll see a couple of links. The one you want to go to is Oasis. This will bring up the Oasis main page. You want to then log in, which is the login at the top left. It says Oasis Login. Click onto that, and it'll bring up the Oasis page for logging in. Now, you would use your user ID, which is your USF ID number, and a PIN that you created. If you haven't created it, this here will explain how to do so. If you already created it, you can just type it in there. I'm going to cover my PIN for security reasons. And that logs us in. Once you're into the Oasis page, you want to go to financial aid. Then you want to go to my requirements, book authorization, and deferments. This is where you'll find out anything that financial aid needs from you, requests from you, or gives you, such as deferments to the bookstore or for tuition, as well as if they need any documentations from you. It is smart to check this at least once a month. When you click into it, it asks you for what aid year. For our purposes, we're going to go to the 2009-2010 aid year. And it tells us our requirements. Our requirements are the online Stafford lender preference form and the Stafford lender entrance interview. Also on this page, it tells you things that you have satisfied, such as the 2009-2010 FAFSA. We're going to start with the entrance interview. The entrance interview will explain all the rules and guidelines that you may need to know for financial aid, such as how do you lose financial aid, how do you keep financial aid, and how many credit hours you need for it. It also explains the rules and guidelines for federal Stafford loans and the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to click through it, but I'll stop on the loan limit page. Explains a lot about the different offices, the needs, the terms, grant scholarships, the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized, how much you need to borrow, the purpose of the promissory note, and the limits. Now, as you go through, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, and graduates have different limits of amounts they are allowed to accept. Freshmen being the least. The total a freshman can get as a dependent student is $5,500. The total they can get as an independent is $9,500. The difference between them and a senior would be the $7,500 for a dependent student and $12,500 for an independent student. The most that any student could get would be that of a graduate student who can receive $20,500. You want to be cautious on the amounts that you borrow because although you are not having to pay on the subsidized portions while you're in school, these amounts can accumulate quickly. and the subsidized limit is $23,000. The unsubsidized and subsidized combined is $31,000, and for independent students, it's $57,500, which is the total combined. Graduate students have a limit of $65,500 for subsidized and $138,500 for the combined limits. I'll continue to click through. This explains the interest rate, the budget, things you want to consider as far as how much rent costs, books and things of that amount, how repayment is handled, who you make repayments to, how to avoid default, things that you, the student, are responsible for. Now we have reached the end. When you click next for these pages,